You can unmute us if you want.
Yay, Jordy!
How do you do that?
Jordy! Karaoke Kelly's leaving. This one's definitely raunchier than the last. So, feel free to unmute yourself if you so choose.
Woohoo!
All right, I don't know about you all, but COVID has made dating extremely difficult for the past 2 years. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, I was trying to figure out exactly how I would be getting laid because I was 20 and I had priorities. I just knew that this was the tightest I was ever gonna be, and I could not face that existence. But Dr. Fauci said, right now, you are your own best sex partner, which I thought was funny because women had known this for years. And the CDC said that your next safest option is to choose someone you live with. Well, at the time, I was living with 2 lesbians in their 50s.
Hey, wait a minute.
And one of them was my mother. So clearly Operation Playboy Mansion was a bust. So I re-downloaded Bumble and resolved that I could date safely. I matched with a guy who seemed great, but I wanted to take things slow because I really did not want to catch COVID. So I insisted that we do Zoom dates until the local case numbers looked better. If you didn't plan your dates around regional coronavirus data, you were not being safe enough. We ended up going on a few dates, so we just walked around parks. By date 3, the farthest he had gotten with me was holding my hand, and I made him sanitize it first. A couple dates later, he asked what it would take for me to be comfortable, go into the next level, almost as if he wasn't getting off on holding my hand. So I told him I'd do some research and crunch some numbers. Same way anyone does before sex. Looking online at experiments done on the efficacy of different masks, I found that if he wears a cloth, his breath can only travel 2.5 inches. At that point, I got out the chalkboard. I thought, okay, well, if I'm on top of him in a perpendicular fashion, we can treat the points connecting my mouth, his mouth, and our bathing suit areas as a right triangle. Now, given that my torso is about 2.5 feet long and his is about 3 feet, then if we take the square root of the sum of those squares, that puts the distance between my mouth and his mouth at about 4 feet. Which is 19 times as far as the germ should theoretically be able to travel. It was that moment that I finally understood why they teach the Pythagorean theorem. After finishing the requisite precoital calculations, I followed him to my place. Before he arrived, I set up fans strategically throughout the room, ushering any exhaled air towards the open window. He arrived that night, and I welcomed him to my negative airflow bedchamber, directing him to breathe east. Then we just sat on my bed awkwardly, having only held hands prior to that moment. As we sat there masked in my childhood bedroom, adorned with Jonas Brothers posters, his hand was resting right at the boundary of where my leg shaving stops. Experts call it the knee. His hand slowly migrated north, like a whale in the summer, and I knew he was about to start braiding my IUD strings. I should have been stoked to have this handsome dude in my room, but all I was thinking was, is there a sexy way I can ask him to wash his hands right now? There wasn't, but I did anyways.
How are you?
So he went to the bathroom, came back 10 seconds later, and I just looked at him like, you definitely did not sing happy birthday twice in there. But I pretended to be cool. I had the music on low, the air purifiers on high, and I decided we would be wearing masks the whole time, so there was no foreplay, almost like having sex with a man. He still tried to make it romantic, which was kind of stressful. At one point, he gazed into my eyes, earnestly saying, "You look so beautiful." Which would have been sweet if half of my face wasn't covered. I just looked back at him, equally earnest, and said, "If your face is this close to mine, you really can't be talking." So I tried to suggest, in the nicest way possible, what if we just didn't face each other? And I shimmied so that I was facing the wall. I explained, it's not that the wall is prettier than you, although there were Jonas Brothers on it. It was just that my wall can't breathe on me. So we continued, and I just stared into the Jonas Brothers' eyes, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was cheating on them. So I suggested we take this to a more scenic location, because I knew a place with a beautiful view of my open window. I mean the sunset. Yeah, I definitely made the right call moving to the window, because there's nothing quite like getting it on with the wind billowing through your N95 mask. When we were done, he asked if I wanted to cuddle, and I didn't want to be a dick about it and say no. So I suggest that we could both be the big spoon. How's that possible, you may ask? Well, we lie back to back, and we cuddle other things. And to top off the romance, at the end of the night, just as we were about to fall asleep, I moved my head to the bottom of the bed, and we slept head to foot, like we were waiting for our grandson to take one of us to the Wonka factory. Even though we tried to be safe, I still felt really guilty, so I vowed that until I'm vaccinated, I would not sleep with him again, after 4 more times. I don't know. I just think that sex during a pandemic would be a lot easier if we were barnacles. Because barnacles have dicks that are up to 8 times as long as their bodies. Okay, for some perspective, Mike Pence is 5'10". Now, if he was a barnacle, that would put his dick at about 47 feet long. But it still couldn't make a woman come. And that's my time.
Oh, God. Woo!